Amanda, sometimes I do a cold open, and this shitty part right here was it. Hey, thank you for tuning in the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. With me today, my guest is a stand-up comedian, an actress, a producer, a writer, a director. We're saying director. We're saying director.
Technically not yet, no.
She's directing. Improviser, co-owner of the Burning Bridges Comedy Club. What else we got?
I don't know, man. I coach improv, I guess. I write things.
She's in the gym.
I do a bunch.
She's in the gym. Amanda Averell, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Now, this is a little bit different of an interview, I feel like, because I just want to know about you specifically, but I also want you to promote whatever you got going on or what you want to talk about.
Oh, man.
And then I think you mentioned your sister at some point living in a bit of a haunted house.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get to that later.
All right,
we would just want to
all
tease them at the beginning here.
Ooh.
So, Amanda, you're a stand-up in the Pittsburgh scene.
Yes.
I know you from that, but I don't know much about you. When did you start? I want to hear the genesis of Amanda Averell.
So I started doing stand-up comedy in 2014. I went to an open mic that is now defunct with my friend a couple times just to watch.
Which open mic?
It was at Eclipse, hosted by Solomon.
Because we're comedy nerds over here.
Yeah, it was Eclipse in Lawrenceville, hosted by Solomon. My friend Meryl and I went there a couple times, and then I told her, I was like, okay, this week you and I are either going to go play trivia with our other friend, or I'll go try stand-up. And she's like, well, we're going to do that now. And haven't looked back. I did an open mic there at Eclipse, and then because I'm a comedy nerd. I always have been. I've always been that person. And I went and asked the host of the open mic after the mic was over. I was like, hey, man, is there a bar the comics go to? Because I know a lot of there's a lot of comedy bars, stuff like that. And they were like, he was like, oh, no, everybody goes to Hambones after. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I wandered down to Hambones, and they had the little fold-out sign out in front of Hambones. And I was drunk because it took me 5 mojitos to get on stage the first time.
Okay.
And I walk over to Hambones with my friend, and I look at the thing, and it says open mic hosted by Derek Minto, and I go, hey, another guy. So we go in, and I just go up and start.
You did know him before that?
I did. I knew him a decade earlier, through a friend. It was real weird. And I was like, oh, hey, you're that guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're that girl. And I was like, can I get on the list? He's like, sure. And then I proceeded to drink 3 whiskey drinks and get on stage at Hambones. And the first time I did comedy, it was so great that I just needed to do it instantly again. Like, instantly fell in love with it. And yeah, that's been it.
So what was the scene like in 2014? Because that's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it really feels
especially
that way.
in like comedy.
So I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The scene at that time, a lot of white dudes.
Not much has changed. Still a lot of white dudes.
But it's gotten better. It's a thing where like, you can't expect overnight to have a scene become instantly diverse with like LGBTQ plus and women and by POC. Like, you can't expect it to happen instantly.
I've had a thought about that,
Yes.
and maybe I'm wrong completely. And I want it to be a welcoming environment for everybody, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Is there, since these are marginalized people, and they're the minorities, like there's less of them. Yeah. Wouldn't, like, proportionally there be less involved in the comedy scene? Like,
so theoretically, yes. Theoretically, if you're looking at like a demographic breakdown of the city of Pittsburgh, it has like XYZ percent, of the population is whatever. Theoretically, yes, it would be based on that breakdown, but you want to present a scene that is inclusive and accepting. So whenever you do have someone who represents a more marginalized group, like, you want to make sure that their voice is also heard. And like, and stuff like that.
That's fair.
That's the important part.
That's fair. I'll be honest. You know, I've changed a lot over the last 5-10 years specifically. But one thing that struck me, and I didn't know, like, the sexual harassment was actually a thing until I started comedy. Like,
You didn't know it existed?
I'll be honest.
Or?
I was raised by women.
Okay.
Like, so my whole thing was, I don't do that. And I'm very awkward. And at the time, I had a wife. So I'm not out here sending dick pics. I'm not even messaging women, really.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that it was as prevalent as it was just because I was in a bubble.
Yeah.
So that blows my mind. But how do you combat that when it doesn't seem to hinder people? Because I see people putting, like, public, this guy's sending me a dick pic. This guy's in my inbox being a piece of shit. How do you combat that at a more effective level?
So how do you combat dudes being pieces of shit?
Yeah.
You call them out on it, and you let your friends know, hey, don't deal with that dude for whatever XYZ reason. Like, I had this happen the other day. I wouldn't call what occurred sexual harassment, but definitely, I'll put it this way. I'll tell you exactly what happened. It was brought to my attention.
Spill the tea, as the kids say.
There's the tea spill. So this guy who Derek was talking to this one booker for reasons. And because I don't even want to go into why they were talking. But they were talking for reasons. And then at the end of their conversation, and like Derek is like, for anybody who knows Derek is very like accepting of all people and just real fucking cool and chill and like wouldn't do anything. You know, he's real chill. But the guy told him, he's like, oh, hey, I see that your girlfriend's losing weight and everything. She's looking real good lately. Just, make sure you let her know I said that. And I'm like,
that's so strange.
60-year-old booker dude, 50 to 60-year-old booker dude. I'll be fair because I don't know his age. Brought that up at the end of a conversation that they were actually having that pertained to harassment of another person.
I feel like this is someone I know that I don't see eye to eye with, and I'd like to ask you about that off camera.
Yeah, you can go off the record with me with that one.
Okay.
I will say they're not a local person, if that helps.
That does help.
That helps.
I think they're more of a Northeast Crackrin character.
Oh, no.
Oh, no?
Well,
okay.
I mean, they are all over the world.
Well, that's also unfortunate.
And it's just like, okay, dude, like that's, it's not appropriate to like bring up, like, firstly, like, dude knows I'm a comic. I've worked with him before. Like, I've worked with this dude and talked to this dude. Like, if dude wanted to be like, oh, hey, I see you're losing a little weight. If you intend to do that, good for you. But, like, to tell my boyfriend to also make it seem like the only part of my value comes from the way I look, that's a huge issue. Like, that's a thing where it's like, it's not harassment, but it definitely hinders you as a performer, because clearly this guy does not value me the same. Like, he wouldn't say that necessarily to another person. I can say that my boyfriend has lost weight recently as well. I know he didn't say that to him, like, I mean, or about him to me. So it's so weird, right? Like, it's not. And that's like the least, like, that's the lowest level of a thing.
As a man, though, to me is like, from Derek's perspective, I would take, like, are you saying you're going to try and sneak in on my relationship? Like, what is it?
Oh, no, Derek, don't give a fuck.
No. I get that. But, like, it's like, why are you telling me this? Like, make sure she knows I said, why, motherfucker? Who, what?
Well, no, this is the thing, is that I know that dude, I am a person, unfortunately, who generally gives benefit of the doubt. And it's like, this dude is older. He would be like, he is a grandpa age, theoretically. Like, because I am more than old enough to have children who are actual adults. Like, so he's definitely like, yeah, he's 50s or 60s. And I know he means it as a compliment, not as like, oh, I'm going to slide into her DMs or I'm going to send her a pic. Ugh. Like, I know it's not any of that. But it's like, why the fuck is the only thing that you value about me or that you've noticed that I've done in the last year is lose weight? Like, you could be like, oh, hey, congrats on you guys running some rooms or whatever. Literally whatever. Because I had just done a festival. Like the weekend before, he could have been like, oh, I saw you guys did that festival. Yeah, I actually am wearing the shirt right now. Because I'm that person. It also,
Hold on.
It also matches. So.
I could not ever give you any shit for being that person when I walk around in my everyday life wearing Inquisitive Mind shirts. That's all I wear.
Yeah.
Just fuck it.
Oh, yeah, man. You're all about the shameless self-promotion.
If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to?
Oh, nobody.
That's how I feel. Yeah. And I'm a big billboard, so check it out.
Yeah, no, I understand being that big billboard part. That's, yeah. People would probably think that I'm part of the Star Wars franchise at this point with how many T-shirts I wear.
That's fair. Or it could be cats. You know, there's
could be honestly like with how many T-shirts I wear. It's like it's ridiculous. It's too much. It's too much. But yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like clearly like I would not say that dude sexually harassed me. Mm-hmm. Did he say shit that was inappropriate? Yeah, because it doesn't seem like that's an appropriate thing to say to a person. Like, it would be the same as, like, walking up to somebody and asking them, oh, hey, are you pregnant? It's the same thing. It's the same comment. It's like, you just don't fucking do that. And you know, we've all dealt with our fair share of shit. But...
One time, some lady sent me a titty pic.
Really?
I blocked her.
Why?
I don't need that type of negativity in my life.
Ooh.
You're not going to do that shit with me.
Was this pre-comedy? Is this another comedian? That's weird.
No, not another comedian. Okay. But this was maybe a year ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's super recent for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys talking before, or did she just send it? Just willy-nilly?
She messaged me like, hello, like pleasantries.
Okay.
You know, like it was a conversation the day before, and then I woke up to a titty pic, and I was like, nope.
I was like, nah, man, I'm not interested in that.
Not doing that. No. I look at it as I'm asexual.
Okay.
I have, like, since my wife died, I have no interest.
Yeah.
In nothing. And it took me a little bit of time to come to terms with that. But once I did, I realized, okay, this is what it is. And now I look at that type of thing as a distraction. You know, like relationships or not friendships, but like a romantic relationship or sex. I look at that as a distraction for me personally. Like I see it gets in the way, and then I see how it affects other people. What it makes people do, I don't know.
See, I always kind of view, so as a person, I'm bisexual, so I am part of that little LGTB. I'm that B. So like, so I always.
That's the part I'm cutting out of this episode. I'm that B.
I'm that B.
That's my.
I am a person who has always kind of viewed. Even whenever I was younger, I always viewed sexuality as like a more fluid kind of thing. Like it can evolve and it can change. Like, you know, maybe one day I just, you know, like whenever I was younger, I definitely identified like more hetero, but then like it evolved and it's like, oh no, I'm clearly attracted to women. I just didn't know how to kind of like I deal with it, I guess, myself.
I feel like I should clarify too. I'm not looking down on anyone for their sexual preferences or anything like that. I'm just saying what works for me and the way I'm able to look at it.
Trust me, I actually know plenty of people who are asexual, and it's like, and like that's cool. Like some people just like aren't interested in that, and some people are just like more interested in like their intimacy in relationships is derived from other things, and that's fucking cool. Like I really don't.
Yeah.
Like I'd like whatever boats your float, as long as it's consensual, you know? That's all that matters.
That's a big thing for me. As long as it's consensual, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Now, we got really off, but I like
That's
it.
That's okay.
So I don't know the question I'm trying to ask, but you're very ingrained in the community now.
Yeah, I have been for a while, yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Okay.
You're one of the upper echelon of Pittsburgh. Right now.
I hate that.
Well, there's levels to it. There's levels to it.
I was talking with another comic recently, and they're like, and I didn't realize that until very recently. And it's like, oh no, man, like people, you know, you should have people put respect on your name. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a person.
That answer actually gave me a lot of respect for you because I've been doing this almost 3 years now.
Okay.
And since I've here, you were, upper tier Pittsburgh comic. I'm not trying to like shit. You just
for those just listening, I'm making weird faces.
yeah. But so for you to just fairly realize that, it seems like you were just working with your head down, and one day you looked up and you go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm very much one of those people who, don't get me wrong, it has taken me a very long time to become a person who does not give a fuck what other people are booked on and what I get booked on myself comparatively.
I'm glad you touched on that, Amanda.
It's hard. It is super hard not to like compare yourself to other people, and especially like as a woman in a small scene, like it definitely operates in a certain way. And like it's one of those things where like, you're like, oh, well, why is she getting these shows and I'm not? It's like, oh, because they just booked me for that and they won't book me for another 6 months because they have to go through the rotation of 6 women in this community or whatever XYZ thing. Or, whether it's getting into festivals as opposed to not getting festivals, or getting, headline feature host spots at clubs or touring wherever or whatever it is that you're comparing yourself to. I am a person who I'm going to just say has self-esteem issues. It's the most polite way to say it. And like, it's hard as that kind of person who is kind of like, is very driven and has those issues and like needs that validation to like not get those things. It can be very like wearing on you if you are that person. So it just does take a while to be like, man, you just got to worry about your own paper. Just stick with what you're doing.
I think most comics go through that at some level. Right now, there's a lot of shows going on. Post-pandemic, everybody's putting on shows. Not everybody will agree with me, but the game's fucked up right now. There's a lot of wacky shit going on out there.
How do you feel the game is fucked up and it's a little wacky right now?
Well, some of the quality of shows are in the toilet. Some of the structure of shows are in the fucking toilet. Some of the locations of shows, it seems like people are just grasping for straws. Can we throw a mic in here? Let's put 9 people on a show and a headliner. Call it a big deal.
So I am all about, and also overcharging. I would say overcharging for certain places too, because I know how much venues who are professional comedy venues charge for shows, and if you're not operating in a space that is a conducive space for entertainment and for whether it's a theater directly or whether it's even if it's a bar or a bar room that has like a separate stage area, like there's definitely like some pricing discrepancies and things like that. And I understand certain parts of how that's determined. Sometimes that's not on the performer either. Sometimes that's on the venue. So I get it. But I have to agree.
You are speaking to my soul right now. I just bought my buddy Dan. By the way, check out Murderous States of Mind, our podcast all about serial killers.
Oh, Dan Brady.
Yeah, we just covered Haddon Clark this week. Check it out, guys. Great episode. But his birthday was recently. I just bought him tickets to see Dan Cummins.
Okay.
At Hilarities.
Yeah.
In Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I paid.
Love that place. That's such a good fucking venue. Sorry.
It is. No, it's great. Shout out to Hilarities.
Shout out to Hilarities. Shout out to Cleveland and Akron. Like I hate to say it, I'm a mark for their scene because you know what? They just they run good shit. They
I'm
do a good job.
49 other states. Fuck Ohio. I love you, Ohio, but I'm still sore over Bria. That was I went in there for no reason because I don't care about football, and I was talking shit on the Browns 2 minutes into my set, and half of them turned around, wouldn't even look at me.
Well, this is the thing. Because the shirt that I'm wearing, for those who can't see it fully, is for the Rubber City Comedy Festival, which I just did over in Akron. And the thing is whenever you know you're going into enemy territory, theoretically I'm in enemy territory, you got to endear yourself. Like because they bring me up, like where I'm from, why I'm there. like, she's from Pittsburgh, blah, 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 give it up for Amanda Averell. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like they said, I'm from Pittsburgh. Please don't hate me. I really need your love and affection. And and that endears them. And then you're fine. Like, you can do that for any place.
These are rough lessons that you learned the hard way.
Well, yeah. Well, you chose to learn it the hard
I did.
way. You could
I don't blame the audience at all. I blame myself.
You could have just not met. You could have just shit on a different city. You could have shit on Columbus.
I don't have jokes about football at all. I didn't have to bring it up.
Why? Yeah. Why would you do that? Why would you just step out your bounds?
Sometimes
sir?
You shoot yourself in the foot. It just happens.
Yeah, it does. I'm not going to lie. It has happened.
Anyways, with taxes, though, I paid $30 per ticket for the Dan Cummins show.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the people performing in the city, and I'm not paying the same amount to come to a show for that.
So this is what I'm going to say for certain things. I've always been a person who is very supportive of creating your own space and building your own room. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of places that do it. And I'm a big fan of seeing places that don't generally have comedy. I used to run a room in Brookline at LFG looking for group. And we and this was back in 2015, I think I started, or I was 6 months into comedy whenever I started this room because my friends had it. It's a group gaming and co-working space. A place you would.
Where you held the seminar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not in that back room part of it. They've actually moved and they're upsizing and everything. Mm-hmm. So who knows what's coming down the line? But I held small little pop-up shows there, and because they had the equipment for it, held small pop-up shows. They used to hold punk shows and stuff. So did a comedy show there. We'd live stream it over Twitch so that way we could. So I even said this earlier to my friend. I'm like, these people don't even know about this live streaming comedy thing. I felt like MySpace talking about it. I'm Tom for MySpace when it comes to this. And there's a reason why I don't generally do online shows, because I prefer audience. I've done online before, and I think it works best if it's a combination of both. If you can manage to contain the size and then stream it, whatever. Beyond the point, not what we're talking about. But I don't. This is the thing. You will, if you don't book good shows. I'm going to look directly in the camera for this. If you don't book good shows, I'm looking at myself. It makes it look like I'm looking in this camera here. It's weird. If you don't book good shows, whether you book the same people all the time or whether you're just not booking people who have experience or people who are just generally not at the level that they should be. Maybe they have 5 minutes, but you're booking them for 15.
I've been there.
Everybody has. I've been there.
Oh, shit. What do I do?
Well, that's the thing. What you do in that case is you talk to the producer and be like, look, you want me for 15? I got 10. Maybe 11. And then the producer can generally go, okay, and adjust. I did that on the very first show I booked because he thought we were all doing 15s. And I went up to him after he said that. I'm like, I've been doing this 5 months. I don't have 15. I was like, I have got 10 right now. And he's like, do your 10. It's fine. I'll be there. I'll come up and get you. And he's like, and that was the most reassuring thing. Thank you, Shannon Norman, for that.
Okay. The next alderman or whatever the hell he's going to be.
I don't know.
Alderman Norman.
But yeah, if you don't book good quality shows, you're going to burn that room. Either that venue will not want to produce comedy anymore, because that has happened in the past where people have run dog shit open mics and other stuff, and they've not wanted to bring comedians back, even though they've pitched great things there, and they're people who could run good things. That'll burn a room, and then you've burned a room for your whole community. If you overprice things, if you're pricing a ticket at $20 to $30 that really should be $10 to $15, and you produce a show that's not of a $20 to $30 quality, which you've burned an audience member, because they're not going to spend that money to go see another show. And also comparatively, whenever they see a show that's at an actual theater or an actual venue that is designed for those type of things, that is priced lower, they'll be like, well, why did I spend this much for this? Is this not as good? And it's too much. You mentioned I ran a workshop. I've run workshops on producing.
Oh yeah, it was a very good one. I'll say that. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I actually learned quite a bit from it too.
Thank you. I try. But that's the thing is like you'll burn a room by doing bad shows that turn out poorly or don't make the place enough money or cause a disruption in some way.
Mm-hmm.
You'll burn an audience member by putting on a bad show and charging too much money for it. And then you won't have a scene that's able to grow because you won't have any rooms or anybody who's wanting to do it. And also, if you book shows in the same place every month, which that's a monthly show, you're running a room, I get that. But if you book the same comics every month, I mean, aside from yourself as host, guess what? Or whatever that combination might be. It always depends. But like the turnaround for jokes for comics, especially at a younger experience level, like a newer, I don't want to say new, but like a newer experience level.
She's being kind with her words. If you're fucking garbage.
I also don't want to say young because I started at 29. I sure as shit am not young.
Yeah, I started at 31.
Yeah, like I don't want to say young because then that sounds very ageist, and we know that like people start comedy late. Some start comedy early. It's their own journey, man. But like if you are a less experienced comic, your turnaround for material and good quality material is not that quick. I'm going to say this and I'm going to bring up this person's name and it's controversial. But Louis C.K. used to put out a new hour every year.
Mm-hmm.
A new hour. If you're the same person who's getting booked for 15 minutes and you're getting booked for 4 months at 15 minutes a pop, that's a new hour. You're not coming up with a new hour of material in 4 months when somebody who's been doing it for 30 some years is taking a year to hone and craft a new fucking special every year. It's just not happening. And you're going to burn out the audience that way because they heard all your jokes.
And on top of that, he was able to do that.
I'm not a fan of his.
Not every comic is able to put out a new hour every year. That's not like a common thing.
No, it's not. It's very not a common thing. Like, and it's, I mean, like, you have to only be focusing on comedy to do something like that. Can't
have a wife or kids. Check.
I mean, technically, I don't want to get into it about that. I don't. I hate that I brought up that name, but it's not.
Oh, I was moving on from him.
Good.
I'm not going to sit here and hey, so have you heard this? No, I don't care about him.
But yeah, it's just not feasible, and you're gonna burn your audience. Like I even know, like whenever we were running Burning Bridges and stuff like that, like prior to COVID, my turnaround time was definitely better with comedy than it is now, just because I don't have the chance to go out and do stuff, and I need to really start writing and honing a little bit more because. Let's be honest, COVID took it out of a lot of us. The thing about comedy is that we generally write based on of our life experience. And for a year, we really didn't get to experience shit. And what we did get to experience was fucking terrible. Like, I'm not going to lie. It was fucking bad. It was bad. Everybody had bad shit happen to them last year.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it was just not, it was not good for anybody. And like, it's fine if, and comics, if you're listening, it's fine if you're coming out and doing jokes that you did prior to the pandemic, because everybody is. Don't worry about it.
That's
just
something I fought
focus
with
on your own
myself
lane. I fought with myself about it too, but I was like, you know what, man? Like, whenever I saw other comics doing it, I was like, okay, this is the right thing. Like, I don't care if this joke is 2 or 3 years old at this point. What I was working on at the time of the pandemic. Is it even relevant to try and do now?
Yeah.
So it's a lot different.
And pandemic material, I think, expired awfully quick.
So here's the thing about my opinion on pandemic material is like, you don't want to remind the audience
how shitty
it is, or about the weird elephant in the room. Like, if you're all wearing masks at a show, like maybe one little touch on it. Like, I had a joke about wearing masks because guess what? Like my whole premise was, it's like, oh, ladies, you should love wearing masks because it's another way we get to judge other women. Instead of just judging their purses, we can now judge what's on their face.
Okay.
Like, it was.
I've kind of milked it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's the best thing that happened to me. And then I pull away and show my teeth.
Yeah.
It's an equalizer.
Yeah. But it's a small little quick aside that you can just kind of.
Yeah. I'm not talking about Joe Exotic for 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I'm glad you brought up rooms and burning bridges. It's not here. or the physical location isn't here as of right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. I've had a lot of conversations with people outside of this podcast about burning bridges.
Okay.
There's people that are split. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are devastated by it.
Yeah.
Club, blah blah blah, and there's people that are like, oh, fuck it, I don't care. I want to say to those people, even if you didn't like the management of the room or whatever, the scene, wherever it was at minimum 2 more mics a week that we lost.
Yeah.
And I want people to put that in perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to like every scene or every room, but it's a loss to the community. It hurts.
Yeah.
Especially now. There'd be 2 more mics.
Especially now. And 2, and I hate to say it, I mean, like, I didn't run the best one. We know who ran the best one in that room. Sure shit wasn't me. And I'm fine with that. Like, that's cool because that's not my jam all the time.
he was a hard one to catch. He ran the hell out of that room.
Oh, man.
And
well,
he
put up 60 fucking comics a night. Like, people would get pissed. Okay, so here's the thing about open. Like, I feel like I'm saying, here's the thing, a whole bunch, and it feels kind of weird and aggressive, and I don't like it. But here's the thing. So, the loss of burning bridges in the incarnation that it was. Firstly, I wasn't one of the first people who started as the club. It was not me. I came in later and managed some other stuff because it's a lot to manage for one person after another person wanted to drop out of doing it. It was a lot for Derek to take on.
That's a fascinating conversation that maybe one day I would have with Derek. Like, and no disrespect to you.
Oh no, it's okay. Like, well, there's it's just business wise. Like, there are certain things that like he's better at than I am better at. Like, he knows more people, so booking is his thing.
Okay.
I'm good with money, so doing the books is my thing. Like, it's just simple stuff like that, just basic business things. Like, not, anything else like that. It's just like that basic type of like running a fucking thing. Just the basic, nails of any business.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, stuff like that. Paying for promotions. Writing press releases, things like that. Making sure that like our social media is up to date, all that stuff. So when I came in to do stuff, there was the other person who was involved left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
For good reason.
For good reason. So it's hard to win anybody back for any business if they have a bad experience. So I understand some of the like sentiment towards that. And also, both myself and Derek aren't people who are going to put up with bullshit. And when I say bullshit, I mean people saying things that are anti-Semitic or homophobic or anything of those general kind of natures. We don't deal with that shit. We don't put up with that shit. And there were people who at the time were newer comics who were like saying stuff like that. And I also had people who had harassed my open mic hosts. And I'm sorry, if you harass someone, I'm not going to fucking put you up. I'm going to ban you from my fucking room. Like, I don't care like whatever substance abuse problem you were having at the time, you're banned for at least that duration, and then COVID happens. So I
remember quite a few actually instances, especially when I was like newer, 5, 6, I was like, oh, and I would hear this happened and this happened without like knowing the people directly.
That's the part. And like, I understand, like, if people, nobody's gonna like everybody. Like, nobody's like, I'm not gonna be everybody's favorite fucking person, and I'm okay with that, and that's fine. But like, people not being upset that it's gone, that's fine. That's your opinion. But what I can say is that like, Derek lost one of his best friends for like over a decade. Like, it's the fucking tragedy. It's fucking awful. And like, it was out of the blue.
Are we talking about Jeff?
Yeah, we're talking about Jeff, the owner of Hambones.
Rest in peace, Jeff.
Yeah. He like, so like, whatever other people think about it, like, I could give a fuck less because we're experiencing loss on a personal level. Like, and that's just what it is. Like, I mean, and it sucks, like, yes, it sucks for the community because, like, we used to run 2 shows on Saturdays and 2 open mics, and then we were running Sunday shows for a period of time too. Like, we as a community needed a solid thing that would back local, more independent comics that weren't going to get picked up.
It was like an anchor.
It very much
was an anchor in the scene.
And Derek Minto created that. Like, he ran that open mic there on Thursdays
like a champion.
For fucking 8 years. And towards like the end of it was putting up 50, 60 comics every fucking week. And people would get pissed because they're like, well, I don't want to go first. I don't want to go last. It's like, well, somebody's always got to go first. Somebody's always got to go last, dude.
If you
we all get 3 minutes, it's not great.
You guys don't know how exhausting it is to run a mic with 25 people.
I was exhausted after doing it with like 20 people the other fucking night.
60 people, half of them maybe less than 100 times on stage, but
I mean,
all want to go up first.
Say, yeah.
All want to go up first, or not first, but
they want to go up when the room's hot. They think that their shit is something nobody else has thought of before.
I've tried to have a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about that's part of the game. You're going to go up last sometimes. It just happens.
Yeah.
It's not disrespect. It's just part of the goddamn game.
Yeah, and this is the other thing, too. Like, those people who are, like, pissed about that shit are also comics who've probably not done multiple open mics in one night. Because if you go early in one spot, you know you're getting to the other spot late, so you're going to probably go at the end. Like, it's. I mean, there used to be a time whenever you could do 2 and 3 mics in a night.
There was a period for about 6 months in 2019 where once a month you could hit 4 mics.
Yeah, like and like just the sheer amount of stage time you could get at that point was.
It was beautiful.
It was amazing. I really fucking miss it.
Oh, Amanda,
like,
I'll
the
be
rooms
honest
weren't
with you.
all great either, but I miss that, man. I miss that hustle. Like, I don't like hustle culture, but I miss like going to all those mics and like trying the new joke and like, oh, okay, well, this tag worked and this, just figuring it all out. I love that.
That's the hardest part for me right now is just the lack of mics,
Yeah.
and I'm sure more will come as time happens.
Oh yeah, and as venues,
it's just frustrating.
Like, yeah.
I wanted to ask though, where does Burning Bridges go from here? Do you have a plan? Do you have something, an idea?
I mean, myself and Derek have always produced shows outside of the Burning Bridges realm. Before and after it existed, produced shows outside of it. So right now we're just focusing on the shows we do have running. We own all the Burning Bridges, whatever's, like LLCs and all that stuff. So right now we don't exactly know.
Okay.
There's a lot of things. Also, like, you know, it's the jumping into running a business is not something anyone should take lightly. And I'll admit that as a comic, it's hard because, like, part of you wants to, like, run a great business and a great room and give as many opportunities to up-and-coming comics as you can and bring in as cool as fucking hell headliners as you can and do all that stuff and create something really great and create something really cool, whether it's festival, whether it's a room, whether it's just a mic or just a monthly showcase, whatever it is. Like, you really want to create something that, like, the community can come around and, like, is a good space for things. But then as a comic, like, I know personally it's like, I want to travel. I want to do comedy. I want to go do other clubs. I want to go meet other people. I want to go be in other scenes. I want to do even more festivals than what I've done. Like, I want to do all those things. So you also have to kind of, like, weigh where you're at too.
Yeah, I completely agree. Obviously, my long-term goal is to just, like, and I think it's feasible, is to be an on-the-road working comic.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's conflicting because you want to cultivate what you have, but at the same time, you want to soar like an eagle. Like an eagle. Amanda, this is the part that I'm actually going to cut out and post for people. That being said, what advice do you want to give to a new comic? to someone just started or thinking about starting?
Oh, man. Well, that's two totally different people. I mean, I already gave this one nugget of advice on another podcast, but the main thing is that, like, figure out what you want and work on it, and don't let other people's opinions or, like, nobody is going to think about you as much as you think about yourself. So, like, don't worry if you think, oh, well, these people don't like me, they don't talk to me, whatever it is. Like, honestly, they've probably not given you a second thought, or don't think that they're being, like, not accepting. They probably are like, oh yeah, I know that person. Like, that's it. That might just be it. But, like, just focus on what you want and work hard, focus on your paper, write your good shit, and go out there.
I can stand with that. Focus on your paper, write your shit, put your head down, and keep moving.
Don't get involved in the petty drama bullshit. It's not worth it.
I'm not gonna bring, like, any crazy details up on here because I could give a shit less. But the drama that's going on right now between a few people is very interesting to watch, and I'm not involved at all. So it's just sheer entertainment.
Oh, I want to know what drama you're talking about.
Okay.
This will be off the air.
Yeah, off the air.
Got a lot of off the record things happening
on
today.
the air. It's the weirdest fucking love triangle I've ever seen.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. It's like you want to choose between. Okay. I love y'all. What do you got going on? What do you got going on? What do you want to promote? Websites, anything, social medias?
So on the Twitters and the Instagrams, I'm at Amanda Averell. On Facebook, I'm Amanda Averell Comedy. My website is amandaaverell.com. Last name is spelled Averell. That's the social media and all that junk. In July, I'm producing a monthly showcase in Ambridge at the Iron Horse Theater Company. It's a great local nonprofit theater that is about 60 seats or so. We've got headlining comics coming in from all across the country and some local headliners too. And it's going to be really cool. I got my friend Rena Kalm, who tours nationally. She's going to be one of our headliners. Mary Santora from Cleveland is also going to be one of the other headliners there. It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about it. That's the only producing show thing I have to kind of talk about right now.
Okay. Yeah. This. I first off, thank you for coming on again.
Oh, thank you for having me, man.
I really enjoyed this conversation. I feel like maybe part of me has cheated you. So just. Is there anything you want the people to know about you, about Amanda Averell?
Oh.
Because we just got into some very interesting conversations, but we didn't fully touch on who you are.
Let's see. I'm really into Star Wars and sharks.
Where did the shark fascination come from?
I don't know, man.
I think that's a stupid question because I like turtles.
Sharks. Yeah. Oh, wait. Can you say that again?
I like turtles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I do. My first tattoo is a fucking turtle.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like sharks.
Is there a shark with an Instagram account out there?
Oh, yes. You all have to follow my shark Bruce. It's at Bruce_Berg Shark. Bruce travels across the country, sometimes with me, sometimes with Derek Minto, and takes photos with things. He likes to travel a lot and do goofy shit. So it's kind of fun. It's a fun time. There's also a litany of other shark pals he has, about 20 other shark pals, that also make guest appearances occasionally on the Instagram. Yeah. And I know Bruce is going to be doing a lot of traveling coming up soon. He's going to be traveling to Erie. He's going to be traveling to Universal Studios and Disney World. He's going to be doing a lot of travel.
Sounds like some good stuff. So you're Star Wars nerd, in the kindest way possible. No disrespect on that. Star Wars nerd. You love sharks. Any other message for anybody?
Oh man. I don't know. I also like brunch a lot, but I think that's just a basic It's just a basic white lady thing. I'm not going to lie. Like, I also don't try to guess my age because you'll probably get it wrong. Had that happen twice in one night at a party. They were very surprised when I said the number. Their response was just like, how? And I'm like,
Clean living and sharks.
Yeah, 100% clean living.
Alcohol and late night comedy, open mics, and just, I don't know. For me personally, I'm mixing in some self-hatred for my jokes.
Definitely.
Every time I tell a joke, I'm like, oh, well, I'm an idiot.
No, I would just say self-loathing in general. I mean, just, it's been there the whole time. It's what keeps you young.
That's my secret. I'm always self-loathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Amanda, thank you for coming on, guys. Make sure you check her out.
I feel bad because we cheated them out of the ghost story.
You know what? We got Ed Kellerman coming back on, and he's bringing who I believe is his daughter, who is a witch and a psychic.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. Ed Kellerman was hilarious the last time. Now, make sure you check her out. This episode is sponsored by Tenacious Detail, your mobile detailing solution for Pittsburgh and the surrounding area. Check us out on Facebook.com/TenaciousDetailPGH or hit us up at 724-498-9942 to schedule your appointment. Again, great episode. Pleasure having you on.
Thank you for having me.
See you guys next week.